welcome. You tuned in to the Free Range Human Show of Choice, your daily dose of reality radio. The Free Range Human Show of Choice. Did I say that already? Well, you know what? Two times. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I am, of course, Clay Edwards. I am live here on 103.9 FM, WYAB, out here in Florida, Mississippi, pumping all throughout central Mississippi on our airwaves. We're streaming worldwide at WYAB.com, as well as the TuneIn app and Alexa. Just search WYAB. Of course, if you miss any of this and want to go back and listen to a segment, want to share it with somebody, the podcast is always available by 10:30, 11 o'clock at the absolute latest across all audio platforms, Spotify, Apple, Podbean. By lunchtime, it makes its way to YouTube, Rumble, all those places. So check it out. I definitely bring my product to the people. I don't expect y'all to come to me. I will go to wherever you are at. Like Jesus, he took the church to the people. I bring the church to the people. All right, look, man, I got Matthew Bishop with our morning show. Matthew, what's the name of your show?
Full Story. Full Story.
Yep. Thank you. We've had a whole story. We've had a full story here. So I get them confused a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
Look, I went out last night. We had a sponsor event at Burgers Blues Barbecue, and it was the finals of our cordless corner competition. Man, congratulations to the Stevens brothers. It came down between, I think, them and a Cookie Woo placed second. Matthew, I'm going to tell you, man, you may have heard me rant about this. Mississippi, we don't have like that one industry that just everybody just knows us for. I mean, it should be agriculture, but we're what I just consider call like a self-sustaining state, like a small town.
Right. The whole state.
The whole state's just one big small town repetitively. And but our greatest export is us. It's our people.
Yeah.
And
birthplace of America's music, man.
It is. It's the music, arts, literature, movies. You look in every category, there's a Mississippian on top of it. Now, they may have had to move to do it, and that's fine. I get it.
Yeah.
But what made them was their experience here, their lived experience, as Democrats like to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Their lived experience in Mississippi, of whether it's rappers having to go to Atlanta, people having to go to California, country singers going to Nashville.
Yeah, that's
Austin,
amazing. You
wherever.
look on Wikipedia and just all the people that are born in. I'm still surprised. I just look up a random artist, like, another Mississippian right there.
Yep. Man, look, I'm telling you, I told the judges got to speak. There was almost 300 people there last night. So after every performance, the judges kind of did the American Idol type, give their opinion thing. Yeah. And I just told them, I said, I gave that same spiel, and I said, I think the people here tonight are the next people we see at the top of those lists. It's amazing how much talent we have here. Live music took a dip for a while as electronic music became very popular. Hip-hop becomes very popular. I don't really consider that live music. But actually people playing instruments and singing to a crowd, it took a dip in popularity. Man, it is back. I really think so.
And there's no substitute for it. I played in bands throughout college and things like that. And even from the standpoint of the artist, like, there's no better feeling than getting up there and just having people interact with you when you're playing and having that one-on-one with the audience members. There's just, and the same thing with the audience members. You get to see that guy and you get to, you really get to have that experience with that artist. There's nothing like it.
No, I mean, look, I'm 46. I grew up going to concerts at the Coliseum in the 80s, late 80s, throughout the 90s, and, getting to see bands like Poison, Motley Crue, just all these huge, larger-than-life MTV rock bands back when that mattered.
Right.
Like when they were still rock stars.
Right.
And, man, it was just, it's something you can kiss. I mean, it's just something you can never take from me.
Yeah.
It's like those memories and just those rock stars kind of doing their thing. And I think it's been sorely missed, and I think we're on the cusp of, I didn't really think it was going to be country music that did it, but country's kind of the new rock, whether I agree with that or not.
I mean, essentially Southern rock, what Southern rock was in the 70s, with the heavy guitars and the drummers and the everything.
They get big guitar solos,
right?
All that stuff. So, man, just congratulations to the Stevens brothers, to everybody that competed over the last 5-6 weeks. There's going to be one more event next week. It's not a competition. The winner's already been won, but cool thing is they're bringing in stage, sound, and lights to the big patio there at Burgers Blues Barbecue downtown Brandon. And all these people who have these acoustic sets actually have their full bands.
Wow.
I mean, these are professional musicians, and they're going to have their full bands there doing full sets, big jam session there, all the people that played over the last 6 weeks. So get out there. It's free to get in. I mean,
great food. I mean,
great
food over there, man.
Free to get in. It's covered. The whole thing's like an old warehouse without walls. So it's covered. It's going to be a blast. Live music is back, and I'm excited to be a part of it. So we appreciate Bo Trebetich with Shine. It's a charitable thing that helps stop human trafficking. They put all this together. We appreciate him, appreciate all the other judges, everybody that was a part of this, Chad Wesley, Bender, Brandon, several others. And, man, it was a blast. So why I held Mr. Bishop over here, Matthew Bishop, he's our host from 6A to 7A here on WYAB Monday through Friday. He's been very plugged into this Hunter Biden trial. And real quick, Mazda Jackson phone line is 601-879-0002. If you guys got any questions or comments, let's stay on topics while I got Matthew here. The Guns and Gear text line is 769-241-1944. Matthew, where are we at with this Biden thing? I mean, to me, look, I know we live in clown world now, and you can have all the facts in the world, and everything's very politically motivated. You think they're going to get a guilty plea on Hunter? Where are we at with all this thing? Not a guilty plea, a guilty verdict.
Right. Well, we almost had a guilty plea in this case, right? And then the judge said, hey, there was no justice there. They essentially tried to let him get off scot-free, so the judge said, no guilty plea for you. Not with that agreement.
And there was an agreement in there that they couldn't bring up anything else in the future.
Exactly, because he has a California trial right after this one.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, we're not going to allow him to do that. That's why you have a Trump-appointed judge that looks over these things. So they tried to let him slide, but that didn't happen. But he just keeps getting crazier and crazier as it goes on. I mean, just yesterday we had stuff about his relationship with a 24-year-old stripper, his need for crack cocaine every 20 minutes, and how his spiraling addiction just torpedoed his first marriage with he was married somewhere for 20 years with his 3 daughters.
It's hard to fathom.
Yeah.
But that also goes back to, we're not talking about a 35-year-old kid here.
No, he's in his 50s. I use that word
loosely.
Yeah.
But we're talking about a grown-ass man.
Yeah, dude's in his 50s.
That started making these mistakes as an adult. It ain't like a 20-year-old college. There's no telling how screwed up he was in college either.
Right.
I mean, but for all intents and purposes, he picked up crack in his 30s.
Yeah. And we're talking 2018, right? So, again, he was still in his 50s when this was going on. And so it's just getting crazier and crazier. Like I said, they talked to, so essentially with this case, right, the crime is that he purchased a weapon, and lied on the form where he said he was not addicted to an illegal narcotic, essentially. So what the prosecution is trying to do is say, hey, show the, first, show all the people who knew him at the time that, hey, he was in fact quite addicted to these drugs, and then 2, show the form. So that's what they've started to do. So that's why they brought in his wife, Kathleen Buell, who essentially talked about how he acknowledged smoking crack. She found crack pipe in their ashtray on their porch, and she was even afraid to have their daughters drive the car because he had crack cocaine in the car, and he was afraid the daughters would be pulled over with this crack cocaine in it. And usually it's like a teenager gets pulled over with drugs. Oh, it's my parents. Sure it is, right? Yeah. But this case, no, that's absolute. Oh, your father's Hunter Biden. Okay, yeah, we'll let you off with that one. We well know it. So, it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. And then they also testified Joey Keston, who was his 24-year-old stripper girlfriend right after his wife. And during the same time, he was dating his dead brother's wife, his widow.
Is this other stripper the baby mama from Arkansas?
That I don't think so. No, I think that's another one. Okay. He has quite a few in his realm here. That's right. But she was with him in 2018. So essentially it was, she kept talking about how he was doing drugs essentially all the time. I thought it was funny, how she said he seemed super charming when she first met him, and she was confused how he was able to appear so coherent and cognizant after smoking crack cocaine. So he obviously built up a great tolerance. I didn't know you could build up a tolerance to crack cocaine, but apparently you can, at least if you smoke as much as he does.
Well, I guess that's with anything, right?
Right, exactly. Essentially, so she kept talking about all the stuff they were doing. They also had photos, actually, of them in hotel rooms. So they had a photo of crack cocaine in hotel rooms sitting next to bottles of liquor and beer, including a photo of a bare-chested Hunter Biden in a bubble bath with Keston and a screenshot of a FaceTime video showing Biden's back tattoo that resembled claw marks. And he's just having a good time, It's just a great weekend.
It is. He's off the chain. I'm sure he was a great guy to party with.
Yeah.
But I've never seen somebody that liked to do drugs and video and film themselves as much doing drugs as Hunter Biden.
Especially when you know that your father is, in fact, very involved, but was just vice president. I mean, President Biden doesn't remember being vice president, but he was, in fact, a vice president. And he's like, you don't think people are going to, look at this? If nothing else, even if it's not illegal or whatever, people are going to see it eventually, right?
The greatest picture ever is the one of him in his whitey tighties with his red scarf.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you see the meme that was floating around literally? When the Chinese spy balloon thing
yeah.
And it had him hanging from it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Chinese spy balloon. I shared that on Facebook and had my account locked for 30 days.
Yeah.
for nudity or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But you could post anything else. You can't post Hunter Biden.
You can't post Hunter Biden, no. Like I said, they do everything they can to protect the guy. But the case itself, it doesn't get much stronger than this. So I'm curious to see. The prosecutors, I'll give the prosecutors some credit here. They're putting on a great case. They're putting on all the right witnesses. With a case like this, there's just so many witnesses. It's not like one person who knows that Hunter Biden was addicted to crack. It's everybody. So, and they're going to continue with that today. In fact, they're going to have Haley Biden, who was Beau Biden's wife, who Hunter Biden then dated after he had died, dating her the same time he was dating the stripper. So that's a really great guy.
Yeah, look, that to me, that's the huge red flag.
Yeah.
And she smoked crack with him, right?
That's correct. Well, she also not only smoked crack, but hid the gun for him. She threw the gun away in the dumpster for him.
So, she's not exactly a model citizen.
Oh, absolutely not. All the people he surrounds himself with.
Well, typically crack kids like to, and meth heads too. It's more meth in the South.
Yeah.
Typically those type people don't hang out with people who don't do drugs.
Yeah.
You don't want to be judged.
That's right.
as a former, I wouldn't say I was a full blown addict, but as a guy that dabbled in things he shouldn't have done, I definitely understood not wanting to be around people who weren't high.
Yeah.
So I can see that side of it. Let's take a phone call on the Mazda Jackson phone line. We got Derek on the line. Good morning, Derek.
Hey, I just want to make a statement real quick. Now, all this thing came out about Hunter Biden. If I'm not mistaken, Joe Biden got a daughter that was strung out too, right?
Ashley, I don't know if she was strung out. I'm sure she has battled some stuff. If your dad molested you, I'm sure you'd battle some stuff too. I'm not talking about you necessarily, but I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
Well, no, the point I'm trying to get is, yes, black people support Biden by the droves, but yet he authored the 3 strikes bill and referred to your children as super predators for doing the same thing that his children were doing behind closed doors around the same time. Now, what do they got to say about that?
It's quite the quandary, isn't it, Matthew?
Yeah, that's Democrats. They're just hypocrites, right? That's just hypocritical. It's the same thing, right, with Biden and his classified information that he had in his garage, and they did the interview with him. It's like, he did it. He broke the law, but he wasn't. He didn't have the mental. He didn't have the mental acuity to go through with it. But meanwhile, with Trump, he has it in Mar-a-Lago, and we're going to prosecute him fully to the law, right? That's just who they are.
But see, that's why President Trump is appealing to not just black Americans, but to Americans and middle Americans in general. He's facing his problems head on. You know what I mean? Knowing that he's innocent and knowing that it's a witch hunt for him, but he's facing it head on. And you got to admire a man for that. Because remember, a coward dies 1,000 deaths. A brave man dies but once.
Yeah. Amen, brother.
Hey, y'all have a good day.
You too, Derek. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Matthew, I guess kind of in closing here, what do you think? How long is this going to last?
So the prosecution said they'll be done by Thursday. So they just have a couple more witnesses left. I think they have 6 more left, which will be pretty quick. Haley's coming today, so it's going to be very interesting to see what she does. But it will be they'll finish up the prosecution at least finish up this week. I don't know what the defense is going to have, but this trial is definitely going to wrap up by the end of next week.
Is this thing televised?
It is not cameras aren't allowed in the courtroom, but
is it federal?
It is a federal. That's correct.
Federal.
Yeah.
I haven't been a little unplugged from this one. I've known about it in the peripheral, but I was paying attention to Big Don's trial, and we got some stuff going on here locally, and that's kind of where my real nexus is.
Right.
But I'm trying to keep I listen to Benny Johnson some in the morning. I'll have it on in the background, kind of see what's going on. But obviously pulling for a guilty verdict here because, hey, nobody's above the law.
That's right. Nobody's above the law.
Y'all tune in to Matthew Bishop's show, The Full Story, every morning, 6A to 7A. And you do the podcast thing too, right?
Yep. It's on, so I have all mine on regulatorsproductions.com. You can go there. It's on all the podcast sites.
So if they want to go, say they want to pull up Apple or Spotify, how do they search for it?
You can search for The Full Story.
The Full Story with Matthew Bishop, or just The Full Story?
The Full Story, yep.
I need to make sure I go subscribe to it as well.
Yeah.
I end up on the phone way more than I plan on in my morning jaunts from Brandon to Florida. All right, Matthew, appreciate you joining us, brother.
Yeah,
Take care.
Thanks, man.
All right, we'll be right back here on The Clay Edwards Show. Into the Free Range Human Show of Choice, your daily dose of reality radio. This segment brought to you by our friends over at Foremost Foundations and Construction. For foundations, Foremost uses innovative polyfoam technology that, with great precision, can correct and restore sinking concrete quickly. They provide solutions for long-term that can improve the ability of the actual soil to support the foundation and concrete slabs. Thanks to their specially designed rigs, they can drill and lift without the need for heavy excavation. The team has decades worth of experience. They've tried all the old tricks. They know what works, and they have weeded out the ways which do not. Experts in foundation repair, polyfoam, drainage, seawalls, and retaining walls. ForemostFoundations.com for more information. That's Foremost Foundations with an S at the end.com for more information. All right, we appreciate Matthew Bishop there for hanging over. Matthew is a former military prosecutor. I want to say JAG prosecutor. He practices law now as a defense attorney for military folks, and highly intelligent individual. Does a lot of research, a lot of homework. If you like a show where the host is kind of a precision razor, like a surgeon, he's the show for you. If you like a bull in a china shop, I'm the show for you. So I think we offer a little bit of everything here at WYAB, especially in the morning times. If you're looking for good conservative reality radio, I think we got you covered. No sense in turning the dial at any point throughout the day, whether it's Matthew, myself, one of our multiple 9 a.m. shows, whether it's Chip Matthews on Mondays and Tuesdays, Mike Madison on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Chris Davis with the music show on Fridays, Jameson Haygood from 9 to 11, and, of course, Kim Wade, Radio Strongman, bringing it home, 4 to 6, every Monday through Friday in the afternoons. And, of course, we have an assortment of midday hosts as well, from Dana Lesh to Charlie Kirk. So leave it on WYAB. All right, so shifting gears. Are you guys familiar with what's going on up in Memphis? Elon Musk is considering putting a $6 billion AI computer facility up in Memphis. $6 billion. Basically right there on the Mississippi-Tennessee border. And I'm a little disappointed in Eli because Eli's very anti-woke. Eli's very free market. I'm a big fan of what I say. Elon is a big fan of free speech, and I'm a little disheartened that he would go do business with a city like Memphis that would champion reparations for black folks. Well, this is some video from the Shelby County Commissioners meeting where Commissioner Henry Brooks discusses using tax dollars to fund work contracts for blacks only. And I'm just reading this verbatim here. This is on Memphis has a radio station very similar to WYAB, one that pulls no punches and calls out the politicians. KWAM News Radio 990 AM out of Memphis. They're a great follow on X. It's at Mighty 990 KWAM. At Mighty, MIGHTY 990 KWAM. And man, they really keep a good track of what's going on up there in Memphis, just like my Save Jackson page and like what we do here at WYAB. But I'm going to read a quote here from this black female commissioner. She says, "When we talk about reparations, we need to get it right because that is serious," Commissioner Brooks said Tuesday. "Reparations is the only thing that's going to repair the damages that have been done by this country." Now, I mean, I would think getting the father back in the home and stop shooting each other at an industrial rate may get the country back right. But let's just listen to her. This is about 2.5 minutes long here. Let me get you mad on a Thursday morning.
I'm going to do is I'm going to refer back to a resolution that we passed in February 23. And that resolution is entitled Reparations. So I think we need to understand what we're doing first, because some people are here thinking, well, some people are here using the words racial reconciliation. The $5 million that is being referred to was passed in February 23, and it was titled A Resolution to Address or to include and address discrimination and inequities in the areas of social and economic development, cooperative enterprise, socially responsible entrepreneurial development, health, wellness, and healing of black families and communities, not multicultural, not African American, black families and communities, education for community development and empowerment, affordable housing for healthy black communities and wealth generation, strengthening black America's information and communication infrastructure, preserving black sacred sites and monuments, and repairing the damages of the criminal injustice system. So we need to, first of all, don't be confused about don't be confused about the terminology, because the $5 million is attached to a resolution for reparations. And when we talk about reparations, we need to get it right, because that is serious. Reparations is the only thing that's going to repair the damages that have been done by this country. Now, reparations is very deep, very complex, multi-layered. It's just so many things I don't have time to talk about.
Commissioner Brooks?
It's just so many things. You don't have time to talk about it. And I play this because Memphis is just a bigger version of this hellhole known as Jackson, Mississippi. Let's take a call here on the Mazda Jackson phone line, or not. If you want to call in, 601-879-0002. They're dealing with the same things in Memphis that we are here. Tons of urban flight, tons of murder, violence, crime, carjackings, and more. And all they can think about is how to get Mineses. Let's take a call here on the Mazda Jackson phone line. Hey, you're on there.
What's up?
Hey.
Hello.
Yes. Hey, buddy.
This is Elrod. What's going on?
Oh, hey, Elrod. Sorry. Hey, you're on there, brother.
Look, I just want to talk about this reparations thing.
Me too.
So they had a bunch of evil Europeans that thought that black people were less than human and were chattel. So they brought it over to America, where we already had a position in mind of, free men no matter what. And we decided, hey, you know what? This slavery thing doesn't jive with our Constitution that we're going on, because these are human beings. They have rights as well. So what we did is we committed a bunch of white folk to go kill their brothers to end it, to end slavery. We did that. We didn't invent slavery, but we damn well ended it. But I consider, isn't that reparations, man? Look, we stopped somebody from doing something evil to you. That's what we do. That's what America does. That's what we did during the Holocaust. We stopped people from committing evil. And so the thing is we gave them the opportunity here, as everybody else, every immigrant who's come here, came here on a door floating from Cuba. They all have the same opportunities now. That is the reparation. That is what you get. You get American privilege.
That's it, brother.
Man,
Amen.
I'd love to talk more about it, but you know me, I'm crazy.
No, look, I'm the same way. Look, your freedom is your reparations. Your opportunity is your reparations. And look, somebody texted on the Guns and Gear text line and said, throwing money at a rotten culture ain't fixing nothing. It's like throwing money at a boat with a hole in it. It's still going to sink. All you're going to do is have a bunch of people that ain't never had any money.
What's the problem?
And we've been throwing money at it, by the way.
Yeah, the problem, we're looking for the solution. We've been throwing money at the problem. You're correct. The solution is mindset. This mindset of, I hate this government that's given me all of these things, this freedom, a free education. You get that in the world. I mean, really, even though it's indoctrination. But they've got to a point where they're cutting their nose off to spite their face. They have this wonderful country. It's theirs as well as ours. It's all of ours. We work together, which if you're out here in the street, black and white people work together all the time. And we're striving for one thing, and that's everybody being prosperous. I want black kids to have a great education, have great opportunities for jobs, same as I do my kids. If they succeed, we succeed. That's where the reparations is. Let's succeed together.
Amen, brother. I couldn't have said it better myself. Your reparations is your freedom. And let's not mention, I mean, they've been getting reparations. If we want to play this card through government subsidies, programs, welfare, all that stuff for 50 plus years. I'm kind of over it. You need to get up, go to work, quit complaining. You're not getting nothing else for free. We've cut the water faucet off. We're done. It's time to get up and fend for yourselves.
Well, I had this Jamaican guy I worked with who was the hardest working individual and the blackest person I've ever seen in my life. Great worker. And he said, I do not understand these African Americans. They have everything and still they want more. He said, where I come from, he stated, they didn't have refrigerators and air conditioners and stuff. He knew poverty. He knew real poverty. And he was scratching his head. Why don't these people strive and make us? I'm not talking you people as in black people. I'm talking about the complainers. I know a bunch of black people that are successful, extremely successful. I'm talking about the complainers and the whiners, and they're white too, man. So, I mean, they're all on the left side.
Hey, look, here's the deal, man. There's a bunch of good black folks out there, and I hope they know we ain't talking about them. And I try to.
I think they do, because we talk like this together when I talk to my black conservative friends.
Look, I've been listening. Kim Wade's turned me on to a couple black podcasters, and I wouldn't call them conservative necessarily. They're centric, but they're normal. They're normal black folks, man. I mean, they may even have a little bit more of a hip hop culture kind of vibe to them, just whatever. But they're normal people having real conversations about what's going on. And it's been really, really healthy for me to listen to these folks. And I'll send you some links, man. It's been really healthy for me to listen to these folks and understand that what we're seeing in Jackson, it's not in other cities like Jackson, this urban Democrat hellhole city, black demographic. That's not representative of the whole cake, and it's really nice to be reminded of that.
Absolutely.
Outside of the few phone calls I get here on the radio station.
I like.
You cut out.
Black guests on a couple of times that were just hitting the nail on the head with some things. I wanted to call, but I didn't want to interrupt him.
No. Well, we're gonna have Miss Crystal on here again soon. She was great, and we're working on some more folks.
Her. She's awesome. Yeah.
There's always an open invitation to folks that want to come on this show that got some common sense. You don't have to be a Republican. You don't have to be a Democrat. Whatever. You got some common sense.
Democrats come on, even though you don't agree with them, you still have a healthy debate, and you sit there and hash things together, not behind each other's backs talking about each other. That's the most important part, I think. We need to sit down together because we're all doing the same thing. We're all struggling. We're all struggling to buy groceries and gas and find jobs that put our kids through good schools. Yep. We're all doing the same thing.
All right, brother.
So I think we need to work together, man.
Got to go, man. Thank you, brother. Great call as always.
Thank
you. Yeah, sorry about it. Didn't mean to hang up on you. I thought you already hung up. All right, we'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. Hey, guys, tonight it all kicks off down at the Coliseum for the Killebrew, the second annual Killebrew International Rodeo. It's all bull riding tonight. It's a bull riding extravaganza tonight. Tickets only $20 at the door. General admission, first come, first serve. I think it kicks off around 7 p.m. And then tomorrow night, the full rodeo action begins. All the barrel racing, calf roping, all that good stuff, more bull riding, and they're bringing back bull poker. That's right. 4 or 5 unlucky contestants sit around a table in the middle of the floor, and a buck shoots out the pen, and the last person sitting wins $500. Last year, some poor lady got hooked and thrown up not once, but two times. See the action live in person this weekend, Friday and Saturday night. Actually, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, but bull poker is Friday and Saturday. But me, go all night, go tonight, watch bull riding all night. Check it out in person. Buy tickets in advance for Friday and Saturday at Ticketmaster.com. Going on this weekend at the Mississippi Coliseum right there at the fairgrounds in Jackson. Speaking of Jackson, let's go to the Mazda of Jackson phone line. We've had somebody waiting on hold here for just a minute. Both lines are backed up. Let's do this real quick. Hey, you're on there. Hello? Hold on. Hey, you're on there. I don't know what. Hey, can you hear me? Guys, I'm not sure what's going on with the phone lines. Y'all can try calling back. Mazda Jackson phone lines, 601-879-0002. Every time I try to put a line 2 on hold, it wreaks havoc on line 1. I'm sure it's user error, not technical. But as life goes, the Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. All right, let's try this phone line one more time here. It wouldn't be the Clay Edwards Show if I wasn't hanging up on callers. Hey, you're on there.
Let's try this. Hey, Clay.
Hey.
Got a question, man. I was just hearing you and your previous caller about reparations, and I'm glad that you said all blacks aren't, looking for that, because I'm one, and I think you and I talked before about the school teaching and the kids and all that, and such my wife and son were teachers, and you and I. But one thing, I guess it's hard for me to understand is that you said the water in the well is going to get, ran out. How many Caucasians are on welfare?
Hey, they need to be.
Is there a statistic that shows that?
They need to be cut off too. I'm fed. I'm fed up with the welfare period.
What do you think the percentage is?
No, I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know. I mean, I saw something the other day that says there's more Caucasians on welfare in America than blacks, but the numbers would play that out based on the 50% of the 57% of the population versus 14. The overall numbers would show there'd be more Caucasians on there.
But there are, and I don't know if your callers understand that. I'm a black, I'm a Republican by every means, and you and I talked about this before. But some of these conversations that you and your callers have, it's getting a little bit outrageous. And I get up and go to work every single morning. I've never had any handouts. Live in a nice, house, Kids go to private schools, the whole 9 yards. But I don't think your callers really understand when these folks are getting up, and I don't agree with probably 90% of the stuff that they're saying. But like you say, when you have those guys that come on your radio station and they talk about these different issues, I think that's healthy. But I think until we can sit down as a race and as a nation and talk about this and be objective to someone else's thinking, nothing is going to change. You know, we're just going to continue to be fighting against each other because they don't understand what struggles that some of these blacks are going through. And even when I was growing up, but it's not, you can overcome it. Like you said, reparations is not being free, because if that was your freedom, they would have had reparations back then in the past. So these stupid comments like that kind of like deter some of the blacks away. I would just say, man, you know, think about those things before y'all say it, because it's not everybody saying the same thing. Everybody doesn't believe in all this stuff that the Democrats Party are saying, but then we catch it because blacks are, oh, you shouldn't be black, you shouldn't be a Republican because you're black. We catch it on both sides. Really, the Cajun don't want us to be over there. They want our vote, but they really don't. And the blacks, you know, you're getting chastised because you don't agree with 90% of the stuff that they say. So we're catching it on both sides. So you guys have to really think about what's saying. And then my only other question I have for you and your callers, all of these cops that continue to do this stupid stuff and be racist and say what they did over in Richmond with these Mexicans, let's talk about some of this racism stuff that, you know, we didn't have cameras right now. How much of this stuff will still be going on? Man, you know, I like you. I love you. Keep doing the work and continue to listen. But just be mindful a little bit of stuff that you say sometimes.
Well, hey, look, before you hang up, I want to make sure I say this to you. Thank you for calling, and thank you for saying that. And I do appreciate it. I really do. And it's healthy to hear that and to have that conversation. And I'm going to speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for my callers here. I'm talking to a particular group of people, and I know it sounds like I'm casting a wider net than I am. I'm talking to these free the land nut jobs that run Jackson, Mississippi, and the people who are living off the tit in Jackson, Mississippi. And sometimes that sounds like I'm casting a wider net than I am. I don't intend for it to, but we amplify idiots, and that's what they've continued to do. And anytime you say we need to sit down and have these conversations, anytime you try to have these conversations and you disagree with 10% of what these folks spew, then you're a racist. And that's the battle we've been having. And that's what's pushed us to the point where I know I feel like I do and my callers feel like they do, is anytime we've tried to push back it's, oh, you're a racist, bigot, Nazi. Well, if you're going to call me all these things, then I'm just going to take the foot off the brake altogether. And I'm going to tell you how we really feel about the situation. And if that's misconstrued as racism, then so be it. You've already called me a racist. So what else do I have to lose?
They've called me a racist and say I don't like black folks and I'm black, you know. You can't worry about stuff like that.
No, I don't. I mean, that's my point. That's my point. I don't worry about it.
As my daddy said, you can't argue with a donkey. So
no, look, I try to all of my personal relationships, I try to have them as one-on-one relationships with people, like you and myself, me and other people. You can agree with me, disagree with me. But hey, look, I don't want everybody to agree with me 100% of the time. You're a crazy person if you do. So, brother, I appreciate it, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Have a blessed day.
You do the same, man.
All right,
Be
thanks.
careful.
You too. Let's take a break. This is the Clay Edwards Show. Come back, land the plane for the first hour. We got another hour to go. Phone lines wide open. Text machine wide open. We'll be right back. Boom goes the dynamite. It's hour 2 of the Clay Edwards Show. I was so fired up in that last segment when I got to talking, I forgot it was the last segment of the first hour, which only lasted about a minute and a half. So I ran my mouth for a good 5 minutes before I looked up at the clock and realized that we were in the commercials. So I will try to reset that here in just a second. I thought it was a pretty good rebuttal there. Anyway, this segment brought to you by Mazda of Jackson, actually brought to you by the CX-9 over at Mazda of Jackson. Go by and check out this crossover SUV. It is luxury redefined. This thing is gorgeous. If you're considering a larger crossover SUV like a Toyota Highlander, Ford Explorer, something of that nature, Pathfinder, get over and check out the CX-9, a Toyota 4Runner. Before you commit to any of that, go check out the CX-9. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's affordable, all things considered, and you'll be able to get some kind of special rates and whatnot on them as well. versus buying pre-owned. So get over there today. Every vehicle purchased at Mazda of Jackson comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty, as well as a free 43-inch television. Get over there, see them today. Go see my buddy Grady, Richard, all the good folks there. The Carr family runs the place. They even sit at the sales desk, run the sales desk. And here's the great thing. When you buy from a locally owned company like Mazda Jackson, the owner, one of the cars, give you their phone number. And if you have any issues, questions, concerns, you just give them a call. You know, you cut the middleman out with the sales guy, let him keep doing his job, and the owner's going to handle any of your problems. It's so rare in the car business. I can't begin to tell y'all how rare it is. Typically, owners put a nice cushion between them and customers with general manager, general sales manager, salesperson. So to get a direct line to the owner is extremely rare, especially at new car dealerships. But the successful ones, you know the owner's name and number. So it's a good thing. Anyway, MazdaofJackson.com, located right there on 55 at Briarwood, Mazda of Jackson. All right. Great. I don't know how much y'all heard. So I'm going to reset. You probably just heard the Stonington Farms ad. I want to reset real quick. Great phone call at the end of that last segment. Phenomenal phone call. And I like being called out. It lets me know when I need to hit the bumper rails a little bit. It lets me know when I need to clarify things. So, and like I told him, if you agree with me 100% of the time, you're crazy. I'm a crazy person. So, I just want to say this. Folks of my ilk, this is the best way to say it, folks who are just fed up. People are fed up. We've been being called racist for the last 15 years. Since 2008. What was that? However long that's been. 15, let's just say 15, 16 years. We've been called racist no matter what we did. If we disagreed with anything, you're racist. You're racist. Then Donald Trump, you're racist. You're racist. You're transphobe, homophobe, bigot, Klansman, Nazi. It's like, man, I've never seen a Klansman before in my life. Just like that fella said, he said, man, I ain't never been on any kind of government assistance, no welfare, no nothing. And I agree with him. And, you know, people get tired of being lumped in to things they're not a part of. And that's where I'm at. I sat here and I watched this country figuratively and literally burn to the ground because people decided to make a crack addict a martyr in 2020. They're just fed up. People are fed up. It's the same people that get themselves killed by the cops look, and I'm not saying some innocent people don't get killed by the cops, but I'm sure, maybe 1 out of 1,000 shouldn't have been. I'm sure some crazy number, because if it happened more often, we would hear about it more often, because now it's like a instant switch to be allowed to show up and act out. We celebrate these people, these typically convicted felons, and we're all told if we don't get along with it, just say, "Oh, man, the cops shouldn't have killed that black man." Well, probably not, but that guy probably shouldn't have pointed a gun at him or whatever else he did. Anyway, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole about cops and black people and all that and the other. We could do that for hours, and it's pointless. When I talk about this stuff, I'm talking about these idiots in Jackson, Mississippi, and Memphis, Tennessee, and cities like Jackson, with the highest death rates in America, with the highest rates of violence in America, the highest rates of political corruption in America, and the highest welfare rates in America. They're in very concentrated areas. People are just fed up with it. Fed up with those people telling all of us how we should live our lives. Those people calling us racist if we move away from them, because we don't want to be a part of the violence, because we don't want to be tax slaves anymore to their nonsense. Call us racist if we try to move back around them. gentrification. It's just it's a no-win. Then you look at the schools, you look at the inability to run a city, and we keep pandering to these people because everybody's scared of being called a racist if you don't pander to them. There's a huge difference in being a racist and being a realist. Huge difference. And you brought up welfare. I pulled up some numbers here. Now, this is just top of Google. I don't even know the source. This is just the very top of Google. It says welfare by race. The majority of recipients were, and I don't know what this is based on. Let's see here. Fact check. This is a thing done by Revolt, so bear with me. It says fact check. Are black people the majority of welfare recipients? Even with consistent data, the association between black people and welfare has remained prevalent, especially the welfare queen myth. The phrase is meant to depict a black woman exploiting the welfare system for personal gain. The claim. The majority of people on welfare assistance are black. Welfare queens exist, and they constantly take advantage of government social support programs. They rate this as false. As it stands, the United States government spends over $1 trillion on social safety net programs. This includes everything from child nutrition to housing assistance of these programs, welfare assistance accounts, and an estimated $15 billion requesting government help is not limited to one type of group or people. But stereotypes linking black people to welfare assistance or fraud remain entrenched in popular discourse. I'm not going to read all this, but I'm going to go down to the chart here. According to this chart, this is based on 2019, it looks like. We'd love to know what it is now, post-COVID. 43% across the country being white, 26% Hispanic, 23% black. And I'm not surprised a bit the Hispanic number's high because they're actually the second largest population base in the country. And they're also the majority of the people coming across here that don't have no business here. Again, I'm not talking about all Hispanics. I'm talking about people here illegally. Just like I'm not talking about all blacks. I'm talking about the people here doing illegal crap, living on the system. There's way too many people in Jackson without jobs that are living on the system. It just is what it is. So there's going to be things we agree on. There's going to be things we disagree on. Then we can also sit there and say that 14% of the population commits over 50% of the violent crimes. Then sits there and screams racism constantly and blames that culture on committing crimes. I was listening to something the other day that was talking about like generational wealth or generational poverty. And it was about one of these outside the state people did a video about Jackson, Mississippi. It was like the top 10 reasons why Jackson, Mississippi is a bad place. And every single reason that they found tied back something to do with white racism. And it's just nauseating. But one of the things they talked about was like generational wealth and generational poverty, as previously mentioned. And it's like, so many people in the black community, they don't have an inheritance left to them. They don't have any property left to them. They don't have family businesses handed down to them. Man, how many white people do y'all think have that? I don't. Not most of the people I know don't. Everybody I know gets up and has to work and earn everything. I've had to earn everything I've gotten. I mean, I come from a good family and whatnot, but both my parents work into their 70s. I don't foresee being left anything. They have to work to the day they die to maintain a certain lifestyle, which is barely middle class. There's a big myth here that white folks is hoarding all the money. And not the ones I run with. Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. Mazda Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. I just wanted to clear the air about that. We sit here, watch the nightly news, see all the stuff on social media, see the absolute culture rot in Jackson. Even if you want to play it out and talk about the white people, the poor white people too, they're not committing the overwhelming majority of the violent crimes. Do they commit something? Yes, of course. There was one out in Robin Hood the other night. Allegedly, some methamphetamine use was involved. And I recognize one of the names. I wouldn't doubt it at all. There's poor white trash out there doing dumb stuff too, I promise. It would make my life a lot easier if all the stuff going around here was poor white trash doing it. So when I talked about it, I didn't also have to have the racial conversation. But that just ain't the case. That ain't who's committing the overwhelming 90+% majority of the crime. This is a show that's based on talking about crime stories, people behaving badly. I get excited when I see one of these stories and it was somebody white. Because I'm like, oh, finally I can talk about this without having to tiptoe or walk a high wire around the race topic. You cut on the news. We'll go to WLBT right now. We'll go to WLBT.com right now. We're going to click on these three little dots. We're going to go down to crime. There's four options here. Metro crime, Mississippi crime, Jackson crime, and then all by itself, Jackson homicides. They don't have Rankin County homicides. They don't have Madison County homicides. Jackson has enough homicides in and of itself to have its own special murder map. 51 homicides in Jackson through June 6th. It's D-Day, by the way. Thank you for y'all's service, for the service of those men and women that died doing what, storming the beaches of Normandy. Through June 6th. So basically averaging a homicide every 3 days in Jackson, Mississippi. And this don't even count people who got shot and didn't die. I said it'd be in the hundreds. 51 people in all of Rankin County. In all of Rankin County, 5 homicides this year. And let's just say I'm off 1 or 2. Let's just round it up to 7. Maybe there's some that didn't make the news. 5 to 7 homicides in the entire county in Rankin. And if my memory serves me correct, 2 are domestic. The girl that killed her mom over there from Northwest Rankin, who's still in jail. She has not been released. The man, the cross-dressing dude who killed his wife in Crossgates. 2 were 2 young black kids at one time. Apparently a gun deal gone bad or something down in Brandon. And then the 5th was the black kid that got killed by the white kid in another gun deal gone bad. Then it was the topic of me discussing yesterday. Leave your Jackson crap in Jackson. Not a single person or innocent bystander, not a single 7-year-old child innocently shot in a drive-by or at a gas station in Rankin County. Every one of those situations happened in a home. True interpersonal violence, as Chockway would call it. Not gangland activity, not any of that. So I just look at the numbers, and the numbers don't lie. There's a problem with the culture. It's well beyond politics. It's a huge part of it, don't get me wrong. There's a problem in the culture in Hinds County, in Jackson in particular, versus everywhere else. Sure, there's a lot of white trash on welfare in Rankin County. But rarely do you see them on the news for killing one another. Let's take a break. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We will be right back. Show. Guys, Eye Gear Optical, right there in Pearl. They're never going to just hand out a pair of glasses like a box of shoes. Bruce is going to adjust your frames before we take measurements, and a second time after the lenses have been installed when you pick them up to fine-tune a personalized custom fit. Bruce is going to ask you a lot of questions because he wants to make sure he gets the best lens with just the right amount of technology for all your wants and needs. Bruce is also going to make sure you select the right frames for maximum comfort, durability that fit your style and your needs. Eye Gear Optical is not an insurance company because he wants to deal with you instead of having an insurance company telling him how to take care of you. Got any questions? Let him know. That's Bruce at Eye Gear Optical. They fit glasses to you for your lifestyle and your budget. Get your vision in high gear today. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6, Saturday, 10 to 2. Located at 2630 Highway 80 East, Pearl, Mississippi. Check them out online at eyegearoptical.com. All right, man, so tough conversations this morning, and we have them every now and then on this show. Now, uncomfortable, I think is the better word. Uncomfortable conversations. So I always appreciate y'all's participation on these things. Let's go to the Guns and Gear text line real quick, and then we're going to shift gears to some national stuff. It is Pride Month. We haven't forgot that here at the Clay Edwards Show. Roger says this happened literally next door to my mom's house. Thankfully, they were at a doctor's appointment. I believe he was talking about that shooting out there in Robin Hood. A couple other things. Y'all sending me links to some stuff. My phone screen is starting to act up. Like I touch it and it doesn't work. I'm going to go by and get it checked on. Let's shift gears. Something we can all agree on. Nut jobs. Nut jobs. There's a nut job on TikTok. I'm sorry, Twitter that's mad at me. They started a page called Stand with Jackson. You know, since I started Save Jackson, there's been a lot of imitators, duplicators, and copycats and haters that have tried to start similar pages to offset the truth. Because I'm going to post nothing but good stuff. Then they post like 3 things and they run out of things to say. Like, crap. You can't run a social media account just posting good stuff about Jackson. So then they just start these pages like F Save Jackson, where they just attack me constantly. So the little illegal kid, I don't care if he's illegal or not, I'm calling him illegal. He ain't from here. And he shot and killed 2 people here. So for the sake of arguing, he's illegal. He's definitely illegal. He did illegal stuff. Therefore, you're an illegal. So it's illegal. This chick's mad at me who started this page called Stand with Jackson. She says, you are twisting and politicizing domestic violence, which, by the way, has nothing to do with South Jackson. It happens at all economic levels. I'm like, nah, he killed 2 people and has been arrested. I'm not twisting anything. She goes, I thought you called him an illegal immigrant and talked about the border. People see the world through their shades. I saw it as domestic violence event and also through the lens of needing resources for communities and individuals. People struggle these days. Let me tell you, this is where I get fed up with this whole poverty conversation and certain communities needing more resources. Y'all have tapped us out. Some of these communities, you have tapped us out. No more resources. You're going to have to fend for yourselves a little bit. You're going to have to pay your own damn water bills. You're going to have to fend for yourselves. Example A. People say, well, there's no good jobs around here, Clay. There's no good jobs around here. Well, Amazon just built a order fulfillment center in Jackson, not Madison, not Rankin, not Hinds County, in Jackson, right there next to CarMax in the old Comcast building. As an order fulfillment center. I'll read a text I got here from one of my law enforcement friends. Ain't got no reason to lie. He said, just left another call at the Amazon Fulfillment Center in the old Comcast building. Spoke with some unnamed managers that said they have open centers all over the country and have never seen police called as much as this store. That's what, that's about 500 plus good paying jobs with benefits. In true Jackson style, they can't figure it out. If they can't figure it out, they're going to pack up and move. And here's the best part of this. I mean, we are called because the employees are acting up. Can't even act right when they do go get the good job. So then when a company like Amazon can pack up, this is just a tax write-off. That is a little nothing middle of the mall kiosk in Amazon world. That little building, that little piece of property, it's less of a headache for them to shutter it and keep the grass cut than it is to deal with this nonsense. These people have opened up dozens and dozens of stores across the country, these trainers, and have never seen the type chaos they're seeing at this one. And not because of the crack kids running around, because of the employees acting up and having the cops called on them. I'm telling you, it's what's going on in Jackson is not like what's going on everywhere else. And it's a top-down problem. The mayor encourages this nonsense. The city council encourages this nonsense. The DA encourages this nonsense. And they're all told it ain't your fault. It's not your fault you don't know how to act. It's racism's fault. Again, people are fed up. That Amazon deal is just a prime example. And these will be the same people that when they run Amazon out of here, our community needs some resources. Our community needs some resources. There's no good jobs here. We need some resources. You just ran off a good resource because you don't know how to act. See, I pay attention. I know what's going on. That's why my give a damn is completely busted on zero. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. Guys, two great places you can enjoy pizza at today on two different sides of town at two different times. First, grab lunch right in Gluckstadt in Madison County there at Johnny's Pizza House. Do you want some delicious food that is one of a kind? Johnny's Pizza House, a beloved institution rooted in the heart of Louisiana, isn't just a place to grab a slice. It's a slice of Louisiana life. Johnny's has your favorites, but also is your destination for something unique. Here's just a few of the pizzas at Johnny's Pizza House. Hog Heaven, the Maui Wowie, the Mighty Meaty, the Muffaletta. Man, that sounds great. Sweep the Swamp, Sweep the Kitchen. They even offer something for the keto crowd. You can make any pizza into a crustless pizza and enjoy a pizza bowl. Of course, they have all your favorite appetizers, loaded cheese sticks with cheddar cheese, bacon, jalapenos. They got breadsticks, wings, Louisiana specialty muffaletta sandwiches, wide variety of salads, and they even got great lunch specials well under $10, starting as low as $5.99, going all the way up to $9.49. You can get a 8-inch single topping pizza and a drink for $6.99. You can get an 8-inch specialty pizza and a drink for $9.49. Or you can get the fully loaded Sweep the Kitchen. That means everything on it. An 8-inch with a drink for $9.49. And they've got the quarter muffaletta with a drink and a bag of chips for only $5.99. That's right. Johnny's Pizza House, located right there in Gluckstadt, right by Germantown High School, right in front of the Mack Hike dealerships. Check them out today. Great stuff. Then, of course, for dinner, Acme Pizza and Daiquiris right out there on the reservoir. Fannin Mart, right in front of the bowling alley, open daily, 4 p.m. to midnight. All made from scratch, homemade. Pizza, pasta, burgers, and more. 12 different frozen daiquiris on tap. 12 different specialty pizzas, 9 different frozen daiquiris. Full bar, available for takeout, delivery, and more. Acme Pizza and Daiquiris. Try the pig. You won't regret it. All right, man, let's do some rapid fire stuff here. You know, I felt like we've beat the racial conversation and the crime conversation kind of upside the head a little bit. It gets a bit nauseating. Joe Biden, Poopy Pants Joe, has crapped his pants again in public, y'all. Jill Biden has to abruptly pull Joe Biden from the Normandy event for D-Day as Macron stays behind to greet veterans. And there's another video, and you can see all this. I mean, Joe's standing up on the stage, and then he kind of hunches over, and you can tell, you know, like he pooped his pants. There's no mistaking what happened here. If you've ever sharted, you know what I'm talking about. And that's definitely what's happened here. He thought he was Putin, but he was a little bit more. And then he has to abruptly walk off in the middle of this thing. It's either that or it's full-blown dementia, but it makes no sense either way that we're stuck with this man as our president till at minimum January 20th. Thanks, Democrats. Thanks a lot. We have a poopy pants president. You know, he did this when he was meeting with the Pope, too. Alex Jones just did a big piece about this yesterday. This is really happening. This is not right-wing conspiracy. We have a president that can't control his bowels. I mean, they might as well just put a colostomy bag on this guy. You know, he runs around. There's a suitcase, allegedly, like a black, hard suitcase, almost like the kind they keep the nuclear codes in, the nuclear football. There's also a Joe's Drugs football, and it's loaded down with amphetamines and vitamins and just all this other crazy cocktail. So they jack this guy up for 2 or 3 days at a time. And then when he crashes, and he starts going crazy like dementia people do, you know, screaming at people, getting very frustrated, and they jack him up with this Molotov cocktail like they used to do Hitler. Speaking of Nazis, like they used to do Hitler, somebody Joe reminds me a lot of. And then he crashes, and they have to take him back to Delaware or wherever the heck it is he goes on the weekends. Joe is taking a whole year's worth of vacation. This is not a joke. You can Google this. How many vacation days Joe's had since he's been in office? Over a year of the 3 years, of the 4. It's not even 4 years yet. He's only 3.5 years into this. He's taken over a full year in vacation days. Man, does this guy do anything other than screw stuff up? That's a trick question. Of course he doesn't. Let's Google it just for poops and giggles here. How many vacation, if I could spell, it would be great. Thanks, JPS, for that good education. How many vacation days has Joe Biden taken? Let's see here. Uh-oh, guys. We got a fact check. The actual number is 382 days. And this is when was this posted? This was a year ago. A year ago, he had taken 382 days. Wow. All right, wait, hold on. We got an update. It says, not sure you're getting your numbers. I'm seeing Biden at 254 as of February 18th, 2024. Even he had taken days off since 107 as of writing. It still wouldn't bring it to the numbers you claim. Looking at previous presidents. Yeah, Joe's taking a year off. Wow. Typical Democrat, doesn't want to work. I mentioned it being Pride Month. It's always Pride Month. So somebody just tagged me in a post on Twitter because they're mad about Joe pooping his pants. And they posted a picture of Trump with some Photoshop poopy in his pants. They can't stand it. They can't stand that their president poops his pants. Yep, pooping, hashtag pooping is now trending on Twitter or X. Thanks, Democrats. Y'all embarrass us with your murder, death culture, and everything else. Now you got us out there on the national stage with the president pooping his pants. I want to play this bad, but I'm going to wait just a second here. I want to tell y'all something real quick. You want to know why I back the police? And why I give them grace and the benefit of the doubt, even when they're wrong? It's because nut jobs are constantly attacking them. That's why I'm never comfortable talking about the goon squad stuff, because too many good police catch shrapnel from magnifying that story. But I try to maintain some credibility here and talk about everything. That's why, like the stuff that happened in Richland. And, the guy had a bad day at the office. He didn't hurt nobody. Hurt somebody's feelings. We're firing people for hurting people's feelings now. Get out of here. So, Democrats in Connecticut voted against flying the American blue line flag to honor a fallen officer, Aaron Pelletier, who was killed in the line of duty. Instead, you may be thinking to yourself, Clay, well, they probably just flew the American flag. That would be okay. No. It's Pride Month, mother truckers. They flew the flag, the Pride flag at half staff to honor him. The Pride flag. Absolutely disgraceful. They got a minute of audio here. Oh, by the way, and the guy wasn't gay. He was killed in the line of duty while conducting a traffic stop. He leaves behind a wife and 2 young children. If y'all fly the Pride flag at my funeral, I'm haunting y'all, poltergeist style. Like that. I'm going to be that dude in Jeepers Creepers coming down the road in that truck, and I'm snatching some bodies. They got a little minute-long video here. I haven't listened to it yet, so we're doing this in live time. This is from the cops' memorial service, I think. Let's see.
Great respect for our law enforcement community, and I realize the dangerous job that they do every day. Out of respect for the tragic death of State Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier, we won't be raising the Pride flag today. It's already up on the pole at half staff in honor of his passing.
It was a Pride ceremony today at Wethersfield Town Hall. Governor Lamont in attendance. The flagpole at the center of the controversy. At last night's council meeting, Councilor Rich Bailey requested the town fly the American Blue Line flag in honor of TFC Aaron Pelletier, who was killed in the line of duty. Town council voted it down. What does the Blue Line flag mean to you?
Represent racism and antagonism to many, many people. And even if you don't personally believe that and you fly it at your own house and you think it means something to you that's much more positive, it's just not how many people feel about it. It's not appropriate to raise over our town hall, especially when our flag policy prohibits us from doing anything that's associated with hate.
What? You're flying the Pride flag, which represents pedophilia and hate. And they're not flying just the regular rainbow flag either. They're flying the one with the poopy stains on it, with the triangles. The one, if you put 4 of them together, it turns into a swastika. Again, these are the people who keep calling us racist and fascist and Marxist and everything else they are. Flying a pride flag at a dang, oh man, here's a 100-year-old Marine. We got 1 minute here, 51 seconds. We're going to play this before our break. There's a 100-year-old Marine breaking down. He says, this is not the country we fought for. This is not what those boys died for.
And people don't realize what they have. They bitch about it. And then nowadays, I am so upset that the things we did and the things we fought for and the boys that died for it, it's all gone down the drain. Our country's gone to hell in a handbasket. We haven't got the country we had when I was raised. Not at all. Nobody will have the fun I had. Nobody will have the opportunity I had. It's just not the same. That's not what our boys, that's not what they died for. It's just not it.
They died so these nut jobs could fly their pride flags at half staff, apparently. Let's take a break. I hope y'all are mad. I'm mad. Back into the Clay Edwards Show. We got about a minute left. Guys, the world is crumbling around us. Get strong. Harden up. Don't do dumb stuff. Be ready to fight back. Kim Wade says it all the time. If they call you names, they call you a racist, they call you into stuff. I don't give you black, white. If they're calling black folks, they're calling you Uncle Tom, whatever. Just look them dead in the eye and say, so? And what? It's better than whatever you got going on. And that's it. Don't quit wasting time arguing with stupid people. That's why I don't read the comments on my pages anymore. I will see y'all back tomorrow with Sean here on WYAB.